everyone, and welcome back to another video. So I have another book haul for you guys. I did get some more books here recently. One actually came in today. So I've got two stacks here. Some of them you have probably already seen in some other videos of mine, but it is technically a new book that I got, so I wanted to highlight it here as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So the book that came today, I have been waiting and waiting for this book to come out. I think the first one came out, oh gosh, it's been at least 3 years, if not more. I'd have to look at the original book and see when it was published. Because I've been waiting very patiently for this. And that book is none other than The Ash Fire King by Chelsea Abdullah. The first book in this trilogy was The Stardust Thief. Yes, I was right. So this is the second one. So if you remember how the second one ended, which I do, which is crazy, this is supposed to take place right after that. And I won't go into the synopsis of this just in case you haven't read the first book, but I'm very excited to see where Chelsea takes this, because I think there's going to be more about the world and more about the djinn and all this stuff. So I'm very excited, and I'm also excited about the budding romance between the prince and the main character. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm very excited for this. This is a gorgeous cover, and this will be moved up onto my TBR. The next book I got is the second book in the Phantasma series, and that is Enchantra by Callie Smith. Now, I have not read the first one yet. I have heard a lot of people like it. It's supposed to be more of your dark romance kind of thing. So I am glad I have the second one now, because maybe after I read the first one, I'll want to marathon it. I do not know if this is the final one or if there's going to be another one yet. But this one is shorter than the first one, that's for sure. I can't seem to find my copy, my first copy. Not sure where I put it on my shelf, but I am intrigued by this. So that is why I picked up the second one, which I do have a bad habit of getting the first one and then wanting to get all the books in the series before I read it, because if I like it, I'll want to marathon it. But if I don't like it, then I've got all the books. So it's kind of like a risk-reward situation, but hopefully this is a reward. The next book I got is a romance book, and I do like my little rom-com romances. They just clean the palette. And that is Passion Project by London Sperry. And this book is basically about a girl who doesn't know what she wants in life. She doesn't have any goals, anything like that. But she goes on a blind date, and I guess there's some agreement, and they go across New York and try a bunch of different things to try to find the main character's passion project. And then, a little budding romance happens between the two of them, and, so on and so forth. So I just read the synopsis of this, and I thought it would be cute. So I thought it would be a cute little palette cleanser. So I decided to add it to my shelves. The next one you've seen in some of my videos, so I will just do a quick highlight here. But that is the 5th book in the Bones season called The Dark Mirror. This is the Broken Binding edition, as it is just absolutely gorgeous all around. But I have all 5 now from the Broken Binding, and I'm hoping I can like start reading these this year. I would like to. And basically this takes place in future London, and there's people that have powers, and there's people who are like certain powers, like you're not allowed to have them or something, and so you get put on a list and whatever else. And I think our main character's name is Paige, and so she gets like caught up in like an underground type of crime system or something or other. I don't remember the synopsis, but it sounds very interesting to me. And these will be the first books I've read by Samantha Shannon. I have her Orange Tree books, but I have not read them yet. Partly because I'm intimidated by the Orange Tree, because the book is so big. But very happy to have this on my shelf. Hopefully I can start the Bone season soon. The next book I have is also from Broken Binding, and this is part of my fantasy subscription that I get from them. And this is the 2nd book in the Mask of Mirrors. This is The Liar's Knot. I've heard really, really good things about this whole series. I don't know what it's about, to be quite honest. But I wanted to show you this book because it is absolutely gorgeous. I think it does have fantasy aspects, obviously, since this is a fantasy subscription. But this also, I believe, is more like it's got conning in it. So I'll be very intrigued on how the con plays out. And I'm sure there's more to it than that. But, yeah. Excited. The next book is A Drop of Corruption, and this is by Robert Jackson Bennett, and it is the 2nd one in this series. I haven't read the first one yet. Obviously, that's a trend of mine, but I've heard Robert Jackson Bennett is just fantastic, and so I really think I'm gonna like this book. I've heard it's the first book is very, very interesting. So this is kind of like a Sherlock Holmes and his and Watson kind of like pairing. I guess Anna is more of your Sherlock Holmes. She's very eccentric. She doesn't leave the house. I think she's blind. And then you have Din, who like goes out and has and don't quote me on this, I'm pretty sure he's the one that has a fantastic memory. And so he goes out to all the crime scenes, and he then goes back to Anna and relays everything, and then she tries to figure it out from that. I don't know. But I heard the world is really interesting too. So I'm intrigued as to how Robert Jackson Bennett goes from the first book into the 2nd book. So we will find that out. And what's really nice is it doesn't have a dusk jacket. This is all on the hardcover, and I love it. It's gorgeous. The next book is the 3rd, and I believe it is the final book in the series, and it is Faithbreaker by Hannah Kaner, and this is the 3rd book in the God Killer series. I did just read the 2nd book this year, and it took me a minute to get back into it to remember because it's been so long since I've read the first one. So I'm wanting to jump into this year so that way I don't forget. but hopefully this one's a little bit quicker for me, like pacing wise. The pace was just really, really hard for me to get into for some reason in this last one. So I'm hoping the pacing's better in this one. Don't get me wrong, I liked the second one, not as much as the first one. But I'm really hoping I like the third one. If not, probably not as much as the first one, but better than the second one. I also have the third and I believe final book in Mark Lawrence's series, the book that broke the world, and that is the book that held her heart. And this cover, guys, gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous. And I think what's really interesting, oh, not the book that broke the world. I'm sorry, that was the second one. It's the book that wouldn't burn is the first one. But on that topic, the first one is massive. The second one is smaller, like half the length of that book. And if you put this one up against the second one, it's shorter than the second one. Not by much, I think, but still shorter than the second one. So I'm really interested when I start reading this, like how you could jam pack everything into one big first book and then just, because usually authors will do all like the small one first as the first book and then get bigger. No, he did it opposite. So I'm really intrigued by that. But I have all three, maybe a marathon at some point, but I'm excited. I've heard fantastic things about this series. This will also be my first Mark Lawrence book that I've ever read. So if that's the case, I might have to look at his backlog list, maybe pick up some more by Mark Lawrence. The next book, and to be honest, I'm happy it's larger than the second one because I was so disappointed the second one was shorter. Granted, I loved absolutely every minute of it. It gave me everything I wanted. Not as much as the first one, but still, the author is, oh my gosh, the angst, I cannot. And she just ripped my heart out again. She is like Cassandra Clare. I'm telling you guys. But that is Lauren Roberts. And this is her series finale of Powerless. And it's Fearless. And look, it's bigger. I'm so excited. So I'm intrigued. I need to know how this ends. I'm in love with Kai and Peyton. And I just, I cannot. And I just have a feeling she's going to like rip my soul out and put it back together and then rip it again before she's done. I just hope it's a happy ending for both of them. If it's not, I might riot. I might. But you'll find that out in a video. Whether I riot or I cry. Either way. But this is also getting moved up into the list because I have to read this year. So my books are pretty much set until June. But there might be there will definitely be switches from July to September. And this will be in that for sure. So I did pick up another series, and I guess she's got 6 books in this series, but they're duologies. So she's got 6 books, 3 duologies in each. But it's called The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. And so, and look at these covers. Aren't they gorgeous? So yeah, I picked up The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen. I do want to read these in tandem. And I've heard that these are fantastic. Like, I read her Inked in Blood, and I really, really enjoyed it. I have the second one of that coming in May. But I wanted to pick up this series and read this as well, just because I enjoy her writing. And I've heard that people like this series better than her Inked in Blood so far. So I'm intrigued about the differences of each one. But yes, I'm super glad I picked these up, and if I like them, which I'm sure I will be obviously getting the rest of the series. The next book I got was Allie Hazelwood's new one, and that is Deep End. And oh my gosh, I just love this. It is paperback, but the sprayed edges are like rippling water. It's gorgeous. So yes, this I will be picking up here soon as well, partly because I just love Allie Hazelwood and she is a fantastic palette cleanser. So I love reading her books, especially since I read lots of epic, dark fantasies. But I also like those like dark, not really dark, but the romanticities I like too. But sometimes it's really nice to just have a regular, everyday romance that happens in the world, like normal world, instead of a fantasy world. So that's why I picked this one up. This one is basically just about two swimmers. The one main character goes to Stanford. The other one, he's a swim captain and a world champion, but it doesn't say if he goes to Stanford. But I guess they're both training for the Olympics. They're trying to get on the Olympic team. They both have discipline. They both have their head down trying to get it. But apparently they come into a mutual agreement for a fling. So we'll see how that works out. So, very intrigued by this one. I'm excited for sure. The next book I got is Dance of Shadows, and this is the second one in Sons of Darkness series. And this is the Barnes & Noble special exclusive edition. I got the first one in the exclusive edition from Barnes & Noble, so I wanted to get the second one as well, which, to be quite honest, I wouldn't have bought it that day at Barnes & Noble's unless I saw it. And I saw it, so I had to get it. But this is an epic dark fantasy. And this one is bigger than the first one. I have not read the first one yet, obviously. But I think I'll really like this. This is supposed to take, like it's got Indian lore, I guess, woven into the world. So I'm really intrigued how that works out. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, this one's got an elephant on it. You see it? It's great. The other one I think had a wolf. So yeah, I think this will be good. I think this is longer than a duology. I'll definitely find out when I read it. Because if it ends not happy, then we'll know it's not a duology. The next book, I read the synopsis at the bookstore and I had to pick it up. This is the author of Song of Silver, Flame Like Night. I have yet to read those as well. But this is Emily Wen Zhao. I definitely pronounced her name fully wrong. But it is called The Scorpion and the Night Blossom. And this is gorgeous. And it's pretty, like, hefty. And I think it's just the quality of the hardback. Oh, and it's got stuff on the hardback. Because the book is not, big by any means. So yeah, this is just super gorgeous. I will read you the synopsis real quick. It is very, very interesting. I'm pretty positive it has something to do with trials, but we'll read the synopsis so that way you know. 9 years ago, the war between the Kingdom of Night and the Kingdom of Rivers tore An Ying's family apart, leaving her mother barely alive and a baby sister to fend for. Now the mortal realm is falling into eternal night, and Mo, beautiful ravenous demons, roam the land, feasting on the flesh of humans and drinking their souls. An Ying is no longer a helpless child, though. Armed with her crescent blades and trained in the ancient art of practicing, she has decided to enter the immortality trials, which are open to any mortal who can survive the journey to the immortal realm. Those who complete the trials are granted a pill of eternal life, the one thing An Ying knows can heal her dying mother. But to attain the prize, she must survive the competition. Death is common in the trials, yet oddly, An Ying finds that someone is helping her stay alive. A rival contestant, powerful and handsome. Yu Shin is as secretive about his past as he is about his motives for protecting An Ying. The longer she survives the trials, the clearer it becomes that all is not right in the immortal realm. To save her mother and herself, An Ying will need to figure out whether she can truly trust the stranger she's falling for, or if he's the most dangerous player of all, for herself and for all the realms. So I read that in the store, guys, and I immediately picked it up because I just had to read about that. It's very, very intriguing. It's very short. I don't know if this is a standalone or if there's going to be more. So when I read it, we'll find out. And the last two books that I picked up are in the same series, and that's why I'm going to show them to you together. And it is the beginnings of my Malazan journey, guys. So I've got Gardens of the Moon and Dead House Gates by Steven Erikson. So this is a 10-book series. And I guess there's another series that I just found out about that takes place in the Malazan world. But I think it's only 4 books. So 14 books in this series, really. And I have heard fantastic things. I have heard that this is a hard read. I have heard it is a rewarding read. I have heard that it is a confusing read. So there's a lot going on in this. And it is definitely an epic fantasy. Dark, epic fantasy from what I've read. So I do not know if I'll start this year. Right now I'm trying to focus on Brandon Sanderson to get through his Stormlight Archives this year. So this might be a 2026 project, potentially. But I also have The Wheel of Time to read too, and I've put that off for a year. So I've got a couple books of those to read as well this year that I really need to get to. So we'll see. But I will read you the synopsis of the first book in Malazan. So if you are interested in picking up this journey, go for it, because I'm here for it. I just gotta figure out when to start it. The Malazan Empire simmers with discontent, bled dry by interminable warfare, bitter infighting, and bloody confrontations with ancient and implacable sorcerers. Even the imperial legions, long inured to the bloodshed, yearn for some respite. Yet Empress Lacine's rule remains absolute, enforced by her dreaded claw assassins. For Sergeant Whiskey Jack and his squad of bridge burners, and for Tattersail, their lone surviving mage, the aftermath of the siege of Pale should have been a time to mourn the many dead. But Dargistan, last of the free cities, yet holds out. It is to this ancient citadel that Lacine turns her predatory gaze. However, the Empire is not alone in this great game. Sinister, shadowbound forces are gathering as the gods themselves prepare to play their hand. Conceived and written on a panoramic scale, Gardens of the Moon is epic fantasy of the highest order, an enthralling adventure by an outstanding voice. So, that is the first book in Malazan. There's a lot going on just in that little synopsis. And it gets more. And this is only book 2. So, I'm hoping to get the collection at least going for 2025. all in floppy paperback, obviously. No mass paperbacks here, friends. None here. Those are all my new books that I've picked up recently to add to my shelves. Let me know down below what you have added recently to your shelves, as I would love to know. Don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost,